Morning, y'all. Right, today we're going to talk about shoulder turn, my shoulder turn, and hopefully you'll learn how, I'm sure you already know, how difficult it is to make changes in golf, subject to time, practice, how much effort you want to put in, all those kind of things, which we'll get touched on today. But we're going to talk about my extra shoulder turn move, which needs a little abbreviation, it needs some fine tuning, which you'll see why as we get going. Do you like my shirt? What do you think of these? Who would be interested in buying any of these? I think they're fun. I just think they're fun. But in that comment section, let me know. Also, I've just had delivered, look at this, a Masters coloured themed putt out with gate in smart little carry pooch. Who wants to win this? If you want to win this, you need to be subscribed to this channel. One of the subscribers of this channel will win this. Post a comment down below, let me know what you think of the shirt. If you want to win this, one of you lucky viewers, if you're subscribed, could be improving your putting. Let's get the talkie. Shoulder turn, Danny boy.
How's that going for you?
Well, shall we talk about it?
I think we should.
Let's do it.
Shoulder turn.
Let me show you two shots quickly though. 7-iron, shoulder turn that I used in America. You'll see in the videos, approach play not very good doing this, like can't control shape, but watch this. So that's a 1-6-3 carry.
Okay.
Missing target left,
Yeah,
turning left.
taggy, yeah. Okay.
But with my bladed irons, 1-6-3 carry, I quite, if I went and hit AP2, if I went AP1, that's going to be like a 1-7-1 carry with a 7-iron if I wanted it to. Obviously, we know it's not a 7-iron, but they're the kind of seductive numbers that you could get. Look at the shape.
Yeah, that's moving.
It starts left and draws. That's exactly what I was hitting in America, and like you hit it, as soon as I hit it, I'm just walking away, because that's not,
nowhere else going.
That's goodbye.
Yeah.
I'm going to do more shoulder turn, but in a different style, which we'll talk about in a second. Which I have to think about. So slight clean hit. Look at the shape of that though. I mean, that was a line ball, maybe turning a yard onto the line. I feel like I could hit flags. Go on.
Don't you?
So I feel like, so if you look at the shape of that one again, so look at the slight turn.
Yeah. So slight drift to the right, just dropping to the right, really, isn't it?
So when my ball is dropping to the right with an iron, I feel like I get darty. So my approach play feels like Molinare.
Yeah.
Like I like it.
Yeah.
I do come up short a bit too often, but I'm on line. Difference in those two turns.
And do you come up short? You say come up short there. Is that because you just sometimes catch it maybe a little bit thin?
No, because if you look at those two carries, they're completely different yardages. So what is these other numbers on here? But
yeah,
164
10 yards.
Yeah. So what happens is it's 162 yard pin.
Yeah.
Don't want to hit a 6-iron because it might go a little low. Certainly in America we got your tuck pins. So I'm now trying to do that and push this club to its limits. So there's a good chance I'm going to go front of the green.
Yeah.
Where if I do the other turn, which I'll show you the two turns in a minute, I'm there easily enough, but I'm in the left-hand trap. But I like coming up short. I'm playing best when I can see the ball. So as in, if I hit an approach and it's on the green to short, I'm in play every hole kind of stuff.
The thing with it though, when I'm watching you play with this shoulder turn,
yeah,
and this being your first swing,
yeah,
it's more your starting position.
yeah. Well, that's a good point. I could hit that other one and just aim further right.
Just aim further right and allow for it.
Yeah, so I could do this, like I'm aiming down the right, and then I'm just going to turn. So that's a bit thin. Go 158.
Okay, so you got a little bit out of it, but still coming back to target, started right of target, moving back.
Yeah.
What I'm getting at is that if you just wanted to get a bit more out of your club, then that's a shot that you could go to.
Do you know what worries me with that? So when I hit this turn, we'll talk about the two turns in any second, I can hit a few that block.
Okay.
And now we've got a bit of this.
Yeah.
Where if
Aiming
I
right,
hit
looking
my
back.
fade, I very rarely pull it. And often again I get the short one because I just overcut it, so it's like short right.
Yeah.
So again, the pull and the block go like def, where the little skinny overcut one short right, like it's so boring, but I'm on the green and I'm often okay at two putting.
Yeah.
So the difference in the two turns, just to give you an idea, and we did it, you'll see it in videos that we did with Mark Blackburn on Body Track coming in a couple of weeks' time, but this is not the same point, but we saw the trace. So when I try and turn my shoulders more just by default, I just think I want to turn my shoulders more, my left shoulder goes forwards as I go around.
Yeah.
So basically my pressure on the ground goes forwards and then back into this heel.
Okay, yeah.
Encourages maybe this kind of action more.
Yeah.
So I start getting a little bit stuck because I don't rotate this shoulder enough.
Okay.
Where if I feel I turn my shoulders more this way, so basically left shoulder down, right shoulder up, so not this way, more this way.
Yeah.
What happens, my pressure stays much more even on the ground, and then I start making backswings that feel more like I'm going to be almost laid off in a kind of cutting action.
Yep.
So really it's about finding a gameable shot with the most distance I can. At the moment, the second shoulder turn, this one, opposed to this one, feels like I can hit target a lot more. Like I've ripped that, that's 158, so that's not even, that's a rip, and that's not getting up to the distance of the drawy one. And I feel that's as far left as I'm going to hit it, subject to lies on the ground. If we look at what shape that was, I mean it's an arrow, basically just didn't quite cut.
It's not moved at all.
And I like that. So if you think about it, arrow straight to slight cut, or draw on the target, aiming right with a block. Aiming right knowing that I can leave one out there is petrifying.
Ah, it's not nice.
And on the courses we play, like you go and play Pebble Beach where the greens are no bigger than this mat,
Yeah.
I'm aiming in the sea.
Yeah. It's not a place. It's not a happy place. Having two misses in your golf game is not. I've been there.
Where this,
Not a
this
nice spot.
unless the pin's tucked mega left, this action I feel like I'm always aiming at a green.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's a nice little cutting one. 155, it's definitely shorter, but that's just drifting back onto the
Just drifting back on target. What did you say that carry was? 154, yeah.
155, I think. This is the complication though, Danny boy. Let me show you this. Oh, my back is stiff, but we'll give it a go. My driving doesn't seem to dislike the first turn, because obviously I'm a hit upper and outer.
Okay.
So that is the feeling of the more drawy turn, and it's like a straight to slight draw onto the line almost.
Carry what? 262-ish?
You know, if you look, and that wasn't my world's best hit.
Yeah, 264.
264.
Let's get that on there. 264. Okay.
So my driver,
Let me just. What's it's dotted that, isn't it? What's your path?
I think my path's pretty zero, but I'm up, 2 up, out in 0.8, so
so
pretty
zero.
2.6, that's closure rate, sorry, spin is 2.2 spin. That's a 2.64 on an average to okay hit.
Yeah.
If I turn to play my little fade, no, I don't think I've told you this. No, I played my whole amateur career. No, I played my whole amateur career as a drawer, and then I started playing like national events and stuff. And well, no, I started to get, when I was getting better, I went for a few lessons, and he made me fade it. So I actually played my national events, all my better amateur career stuff as a fader.
Okay.
Proper pat hit every fairway. As a junior, I wanted to draw everything, just like the draw, you know, clubs always say, oh, the draw looks so nice, you kind of get. So if I do my second shoulder turn with this club, I haven't done this, I don't know what number's going to come out, it'll be interesting. So this turn opposed to that way.
Yeah.
Does feel a little cutty to do this with the driver. No, I bet that good. And that is cutting. Dead straight to cutting. And I've ripped that. If you look at the carry on that.
255.
255.
You're out to in by 3 degrees.
Yes. I'll show you the numbers here though.
So similar up.
Two up, and it does bottom out to in more than open face. And then what was the spin doing? So launch is a little lower.
Yep.
2.7 spin. Losing 7 yards of carry. And I don't feel I think 2.62 swinging that way is my max.
Okay.
So the big question, which will be an interesting one for the viewers. So I'm going to do another one with the cutty feeling shoulder turn, just and right hit it as hard. See what I can get out of it. So that's a more toey strike. So it's 256. I need to have two feelings of swings.
I don't see a problem with that though.
I've always had that bit. Well, if you think about it, it's what's funny is if we talk about feelings or reality, my driver I'm hitting 2 up and my 7 iron I'm hitting 4 down.
Yeah.
So they're not the same swing,
No.
even though I might feel they're the same. So it's about letting go of your ideas, isn't it? So I feel like driver has to be that way. Again, okay hit, going a little left, that's 261 carry. An okay hit. That's got the potential to be up at the 270s that I've seen recently.
Yeah.
So I'm going to turn that
like
way with
it.
a driver and then irons approaches that way. So I've got a question for you then.
Go on.
Because you're happy with that.
I am happy with that because I've witnessed some shots that you've hit in America
And they're not like what I do.
and they're just not.
Yeah.
It's not what I expect to see from you.
Yeah, I wouldn't play golf if that's how I play golf.
Yeah, you just lose it.
Yeah, well, I would just go back to teaching constantly and turn the camera off. Like, that was no fun.
Go on then, you have a question.
And this is always the funny one that I think people forget about. And you often forget about it until you get on the golf course. Driver, I'm hitting my what feels more drawy, but it's pretty straight swing. Shoulder turn going this way.
Yeah.
Irons, I feel like I'm turning my shoulders this way and it feels very Colin Montgomery cut everything. Where's the blend? How do I hit my hybrid, power hybrid freewood, the clubs that are stepping up to what the driver needs? And then how do I hit my freewood from the deck to the tee? Do you see what I'm saying?
I think what happens is the blend comes when you have a go with it.
Yeah,
Does that make sense? So you know you're doing this now because you've taken the iron swing, or the turn swing to the golf course, and it's not quite there.
Yeah.
So you've had to adapt. You still want to
But
create
it is
that.
there with the upwards.
That's what I mean. So
And it was there with the freewood.
so I think
Didn't hit a bad shot with a freewood turning that way. Actually hit some good ones.
I'm just trying to think back on shots that you've hit off the fairway and then maybe off a tee peg as well.
Yeah.
With three woods and
Yeah.
hybrids. So
Yeah.
maybe you might find that you might feel that you have more of a tee ball swing.
Yeah.
So if that hybrid or that three wood's coming off a tee, you might feel like you want to get more like driver swingy.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're coming off the deck, you might want to feel like you're trying to get maybe more iron swingy because you will. I'd be interested to see your numbers, but I expect to see that off a tee peg you're still hitting slightly up on it with a wood.
I'm not. I'm probably still one down.
And then with a fairway wood hitting off the fairway, you might
Definitely
be more down.
Definitely down.
So that's what I think. I think it's about you getting out and having a go with those clubs with these new
100%.
situations.
100%. That's the key phrase here. And what's so funny is I think because people will see us do that, but the trouble is we do it in front of camera.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So, for instance, I would never have played at Pebble Beach the way I would have played the way that I played. Do you know why?
Go on.
Well, because I wouldn't have gone in there not knowing what I'm hitting. I'd have made sure, do you see what I mean? I'd have been practiced enough to get around. Like we turn up at venues and I literally don't know what shot I'm hitting.
No.
And if I am thinking of something, then, oh God, if this doesn't start going well, I don't know what, I haven't got to come, I'm out. Because I haven't got a safe go-to place.
Yeah.
So your statement's completely correct, I agree. It's about, like, at the moment I can guess how I will play those in between clubs when the loft starts getting closer drivers, but I don't know until I've hit them. I honestly feel I'll hit freewood the same as driver.
Yeah.
I'll hit power hybrid the same as driver.
Yeah.
Apart from if I'm going to hit power hybrid, like accuracy is the goal, not distance.
Yeah.
So you imagine second shot, lay up on a par 5 big fairway, but you need to hit it 200 yards, power hybrid,
Yeah.
or 220. I'm going to do my drawy shoulder turn,
Yeah.
but 215 into a green on a par 3, I'm going to cut it in and do my accurate one. So in effect, in my head, I'm thinking there's a power move and there's an accuracy move. And we saw it with the 6-iron. The 6-iron, I was getting up to 200 with the power move, and then when I hit the cut move, it was dropping back to 180. So it's about having the weapons, I guess, isn't it?
But you got to take this to an amateur golfer now watching this video.
Yeah.
Because they're all going to have a little play. You know, they're going to go out and test and do these sorts of things. And I think from your point of view, with the experience that you have of monitors and how your game works, you have an idea of roughly where it's going to go and what it's going to do, and through a feeling.
Yeah.
A lot of these golfers out there are not.
No, but do you know the biggest difference there, which I always explain to my students? Do you know why that is?
I would only say experience and feel.
Yeah, well, it's experience. So I say to my students sometimes, how often have you practiced putting? And they giggle and go, well, I practice putting every time I go and play, and I do some at home. Cool. How often do you practice hitting, like at the range? Well, I go once or twice a week and I play 9 holes where I can.
Yeah.
Cool. How often have you practiced delivering dynamic lies?
Yeah.
They go, what? I say, how often have you practiced hitting in different parts of the face? They go, never. You know, you and me, I practiced as a kid hitting 6-irons. Like this.
Yeah.
Like this.
Yeah.
There's every other stop in between.
Yeah.
And it's the main point, which is why I've aggressively in the last few years attacked ideas of just practicing your backswing. That does nothing. You know, I can only use these ideas with swing thoughts because I've already got all the practice of gaming. Like, you go on the range, you need to be practicing where you're hitting it on the face, what loft you're delivering, can you deliver a different loft and not hit the shape that comes out of hitting that lower loft. Does that make sense? So can you hit ball back in your stance and still hit a low cut where normally it would default to a draw? If golfers don't want to practice golf, I can't help you.
Well, this comes back to, and like I say, it's players need to go out and obviously practice and play with this. No different to you, like we've just talked about here. You know, it's about experimenting and then measuring that experimenting, which I know is hard because a lot of people don't have these machines to work with, but.
Well, I didn't have these machines to do it. I did this.
Still do that with ball flight and looking at it on the golf course or on the range.
I did all my most work with no launch monitors.
Yeah.
It was my best work was done waiting for Dad to pick me up at 8 in the evening because he was stuck at work.
Yeah.
I was meant to get picked up at 6,
I was
but
exactly
I couldn't go out and play. Didn't have mobile phones, so I couldn't go out and wait for him to call. So I had to wait around the practice area. So I practiced my putting for 2 hours, or I practiced my chipping, or I go and hit some big cut feelings in the net, waiting for him to turn up.
Yeah. They could just do that with, and I know we've gone off tangent a little bit here, but they could do that with just trying to feel like they've got a 6-iron or a 7-iron in their hand.
And they've got to hit loads of shots.
And they've got to hit a 5-iron loft and an 8-iron loft. And do you know what I mean? It's having that.
I've worked at a range for many years. And you watch golfers practice swing, and I tell them, and you see it, and you just think, oh yeah, but you're not going to be on this flat line. I've seen it in the journey. So I had a junior student delivered 0 path, 0 face it, 7-iron out of the flag, said his irons weren't that good. So I can't teach him. I don't know what to do. We go out on the first hill, which is downhill on the second shot, and he fins it straight away. Oh, I get this now. Yeah. You can't actually play golf as well as you think, but you can practice well. Definitely. Those ideas of shoulder turn for me highlight how much you've got to work any feelings into how you play golf. which is about doing the right work at the range, really. I like that point down, it's very good. Golf's just a struggle, isn't it? If you want to try and get better, you want to move above your natural pay grade, if you want, you do just have to work, put the time in, learn the patterns, and that's the big thing for me, making any swing change. To make the swing change and hit better shots, that's doable, but then learning the patterns now that puts through your whole bag, as different clubs have different angle of attacks, different face to path deliveries, different strike points. It's learning all those patterns that then allow you to take it on the course that I think makes so many people think, oh, well, not so many, that's not the right word, but when you get the people to go, oh, lessons just don't work for me. I always think lessons is about trying to give you information, and then you've got to work with that information. Post comments down below. Remember, what do you think of the shirts? Let me know. There's more. I've got more coming because they're just fun. And if you want to win that putt out, you have to be subscribed to this channel. Hit the comment section up down below. Hit that subscribe button if you don't already. And we'll see you all tomorrow.